Hello, everyone. Shashank here, here to answer your questions about the world of analytics and data science. So, my name is Shashank. I'm a senior data analyst working in Seattle, and I do this live stream every Thursday morning at this time, just to answer any questions that you guys might have. Today's live stream is going to be a little bit short, just as a heads up, everyone. So I'll only be on for about 20 to 25 minutes. Because I do these live streams like right before work starts. So if I have like an early meeting that I have to prepare for, then I usually have to leave early. But great to see you, Pratyush and Alexis. Thank you for joining. Jonathan O, great to see you again. Thank you for joining. All right, let's see if we can get some more people in here. So, if you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know. I am here to answer any of them. And I'm super excited for next week on the YouTube channel because I've made a commitment to take the YouTube channel a lot more seriously. The last month's just been absolutely crazy. I've been traveling a ton. For anyone that's wondering, I've been in Boston, New York, DC, and Dallas in the last month, just doing various personal tasks I've had to get done. Um, and that's going to be that period of traveling is going to be ending coming soon. So we won't have to we can get back onto the YouTube channel. I'm really excited to see where we can take this channel. I want to blast past 100,000 subscribers. So the subscriber count is kind of like slowing down now, but I want to go like right past 100,000 and get and see some accelerating growth as fast as I can. So hey, Kieran, great to see you. Great to see you. Welcome. All right. Okay, so we have a relatively low number of people today, which is unusual. This is the time I do this live stream. So I'm a bit surprised that there are so few people here. Usually we're getting, we have significantly more people here. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. We will answer them. Any questions about the world of data science or analytics? Let's hear them. Otherwise, I can just talk about, different stuff that happened this week, different things I figured out this week. All right, so Jonas Alderson, do you know people who learned skills required for being a data analyst online and from books and got a job without any bachelor's degree, and how realistic is it to achieve something like that? Hey, Robin, I'm doing well. How are you doing? Okay, so basically, do I know people that got into the industry without a bachelor's degree? That is a good question. N- Not specifically, although I would say I don't see why someone couldn't do it. And this is kind of the problem with asking me this type of question. So to just be blunt, the kind of like social group I hang around are people where they just tend to have degrees for, or I wouldn't say they tend to, like every single person has a degree. That's just kind of the people I grew up with and everything. That being said, at a previous company I worked at, a lot of people did not have degrees as far as I could tell. Um, and there was no reason, in my opinion, that they couldn't do my job, um, or like a job as a data analyst. And you know what? No, there were some people with a very specific type of degree that I would say is not useful in corporate America. Like it's very specific, like not like my chem degree. I'm saying like this degree is like very much just not useful in corporate America. And they actually got into data analytics. So they had a bachelor's degree, but the degree was like decidedly like not something you would hire someone in corporate America for. Like in my opinion, it's almost like not having a degree. So I'm not going to go get too specific into exactly what it is because then it becomes super obvious, the people I'm talking about. But the so to answer your question directly, I personally have not seen it. I'm going to look out for it more because I get this question fairly often, and it's a great question. Um, Unfortunately, just given my social circle, like these people don't like, like just occur, or like I don't see them regularly, but I don't see why someone wouldn't be able to do so. I don't see what the restriction is, quite honestly, as long as you're able to get into a company. I think the most difficult part about not having a bachelor's degree is physically getting into the company. So if you can do that, then I think the rest of it is actually significantly easier. Ahmed Mohudin, how do you gain domain knowledge? Okay, well, that's a good question. So for anyone that's ever seen that Venn diagram, you'll know that a data scientist, they say, is like three different things. It's like a someone who's good with computers, someone who's good with mathematics, and someone who's good with domain knowledge. And I would argue that domain knowledge eventually becomes probably the second most important thing, after either, and I find data scientists either are stronger in the CS skills or they're stronger in the mathematical skills. Like those are kind of two different data scientists. I very rarely meet people who are like very, very strong in both. They do occur, but usually people are better at one or the other. It's a funny gesture. Um, but the what I would say is the domain knowledge part you usually gain from research prior to joining a company, in my opinion. So go and read your company's financial statements. Those are a great way of getting domain knowledge on your industry. Go get a book on your industry. So before I joined Nordstrom, I read a book on Nordstrom specifically. It's called The Nordstrom Way, which talks about like what makes the company special. Um, Go read investor statements, specifically what the like CEO and stuff says about the company. And then after that, the only thing you can do is just ask questions of people who have been in the company for much longer than you. Obviously, if it's a startup, it's going to be a little bit different. But if you're in a well-established company, then there are going to be people there who have been there for like more than a decade, and they're usually a treasure trove of great domain expertise. So go ahead and talk to them. If you're working in analytics, in my opinion, it's really important to talk to business people regularly, and more than just your stakeholders. Go and ask business people what they've seen in the industry, how they've seen it change. Set up coffee dates with them now that we're going back into the office. I find that offering to buy people a free coffee is an incredible way to build relationships. Um, and it basically costs nothing for the information you're getting, in my opinion. So I remember at my first company, and I only did this at my first company because we went remote afterwards. I would like email random people. We had like a random number generator, and I'd email a random employee and say, "Hey, let me buy you coffee. I just want to talk to you about you and your job." Um, I don't do that now because I feel like buying someone a Starbucks gift card set like feels more like a bribe. Um, but I don't know, man. If I offered to buy, like, let's say you're working at a company, and I offered to buy you a Starbucks gift card in exchange for, just talking to you about, what do you call it, like, your job and stuff. That would seem more bribey to you, right? Which is why I haven't done it after the pandemic started. So, some stuff on how to gain domain knowledge. It was a bit long-winded, but hopefully it was useful. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Okay, glad to see we have. Okay, the numbers are back up. Okay, I was a little bit concerned. I was like, there were only 10 people here, and I was like, wait, did like YouTube stop recommending my channel or something? Um, so quick notification for people. I'm only going to be on for about 10 to 15 more minutes because I have a meeting at 8:30 Pacific my time. So have to get ready for that. Okay, let's see what the next question is. Uh, Okay, Pranav Rao. How do I land a remote job as a data analyst working out of India? Background, 10 months of experience in the same field from a startup. What are some of the websites look for remote jobs? So I don't know. In reference to India, I don't know nearly enough about the market to really comment on that. As far as like what specific website you should be using, in the United States, you should definitely be using LinkedIn. I would assume to an extent in India, it's actually the same thing, only because LinkedIn offers like the best product from a recruiter's perspective, in my opinion, because you can see like people's resumes are just there and they keep them updated, and you can see their social presence and everything, right? Um, so I would say I don't know how specifically any India specific advice. In the United States, I recommend people use LinkedIn, and I would assume even in India, like really like buff up your LinkedIn, make sure it looks very professional. Um, and it makes sure it looks like you spend time on it. I get the most job offers, or sorry, interview offers from LinkedIn more than any other source. All right. Nico Libre, yes, yes. Make sure to smash that like button. Thanks, guys. Okay, Sharingan 112. It's a Naruto reference, right? Um, Hi, Shashank. I was just wondering if you do a lot of work with DBT and data pipelines and stuff. I do not, although I hope to be doing so in the near future. A couple of updates on that in maybe a few weeks. On a few weeks, I'll give you a couple of updates on my life, and yeah, maybe I'll be using DBT a lot more. Amir Hussein, great to see you again. Great to see you again. Rio, best channels to follow if you want to be a data analyst without any college or school. I would say this one. This one is, I try and emphasize, I try and tell people if you can get a college degree, definitely do so, because it'll remove a lot of unnecessary obstacles in your way. That being said, in my opinion, you don't really like I don't see why people need it. I don't understand it. Companies ask for it, but I can't like give you a reason as to a college graduate knows how to do X, Y, and Z, and that's why that we should hire them instead of someone who hasn't graduated college but has done like say a boot camp or like the requisite work or something. If you're really interested in getting a job without college, I have a link to my boot camp in the description below. We're starting next week, the 21st. So if you're at all interested, feel free to apply. We offer a job guarantee. It's $250 upfront. $15,000 total, but you don't pay any of that money until you actually get a job from us, paying at least 50,000 US dollars. And we don't accept everyone for that very specific reason that we don't get paid unless you get a job. So we want to make sure that we're selecting people that we think we can actually get jobs. So the way I see it, it's a win-win. I don't get paid until you get a job, and if we think, yeah, I don't get paid until you get a job. And in my opinion, applying is no risk because if we accept you, you can always say no. So feel free to apply in the link in the description below. TI, hi. On your bootcamp course, can you describe some of the projects and how involved you are once I start the course? Are the projects challenging as the ones on YouTube are quite straightforward? The projects will be a bit more challenging than the ones on YouTube for sure, and you'll learn more material than what I teach on YouTube. So, for example, I have like my courses on and this is what I recommend everyone, right? Before you do the boot camp, watch my videos. I have so much free material. Go check out all my free stuff first. And that's what I tell everyone, right? Um, don't just sign up for a boot camp if you haven't tried learning the stuff for free on your own because there is no reason you can't learn completely for free. In my opinion, there's no reason you can't learn completely for free. Hey, Sophia, great to see you. Great to see you. Quick tangent, everyone should go subscribe to Sophia Yang's channel. So she just commented down there. I'm doing a collaboration video with her soon. And some of the content she has over there is really cool and a lot more technical than what I do on my channel. So if you're interested in machine learning um, and want to learn with someone that works very closely with the data science space, then her channel is an excellent one to follow. So feel free to check it out. Well, yeah, she commented or she commented in the chat. But going back to Ti's question, first of all, before my boot camp, make sure you check out all the free resources available. Try and do it for free. I 100%, 1000% currently recommend that and will always recommend learning for free if you can. The bootcamp offers an extra boost for people who, after trying the free resources, maybe they're still having trouble getting into the job marketplace. We try and help them get into it. So the bootcamp will be more in depth than what I do on my YouTube channel. I will be one of the teachers, and I will teach about one course a week versus the other teachers will teach the other courses. So you'll have a couple of courses. I'll teach one, the other teachers will teach other ones. Your questions, there's 24/7 support, right? So your questions will mostly be answered by the other teachers, but I will be doing a Zoom call every single week to answer any questions you guys might have of me as well. So it's kind of like a staggered kind of like system of like I'm over here, the teachers are over here, and then the students are all over here to make sure that I can actually, give attention, or sorry, to make sure that you get as much attention as possible. It can't just be me. So hopefully that answers your question. Hello, everyone. All right, let's go back to answering more questions. Jonathan O, what's your preferred method for deploying machine learning models? So at Nordstrom, we have a great system built in-house to deploy machine learning models. I'm not sure how much I can talk about it, but there's an in-house system to do so. So if I ever need to deploy one, I deploy it on that. And it's great because it allows us to easily connect with our data sources. Um, and we can run like all the credentials, all the authentication, all the security is handled by the system and not by me. Now, when I'm working with my clients, what I actually do is I work more in with Google Cloud. GCP is personally my favorite cloud solution. I've used. I have used it the most, to be fair. And AWS and Azure are obviously great systems as well, but I actually really like GCP because I find deploying models on it and BigQuery is super easy to use, and deploying models on GCP is fairly easy as well. So yeah, usually something like that is how I would deploy them. Okele, just wanted to say thank you for all the times you encouraged me to keep going. It's finally paid off. Hey, wait, Okele, so did you get a job? Yeah, I know it's been a while since you've been here. Of course, I am here to encourage. Like, the number one goal of this channel is to get people good jobs in data science and analytics. And that's one of the reasons I'm doing this boot camp, right? Like when I talk to the masterclass people, um, my whole thing was like, okay, like how do you like do you get people jobs? That's the only thing I really care about. Like the skills and everything are good, but like, do you get people good jobs? So, um, I'm guessing O'Kelly got a job based on the way it was worded. Uh, Vikram Singh, can you recommend any channel or video to learn Python for data analysis? Check out Sophia Yang's channel. She will teach you tricks in Python that I don't teach on my channel. So stuff like working with big data, building a data pipeline, stuff like that. So I would say her channel is more technical than mine. And I learned from her channel is probably the best way to put it. So I hope to have more advanced content on my channel in the future, but currently I would 100% recommend what she has going on over there. Uh, Anu Afu, I've completed my degree from Ambedkar University. This is valid? So I'll be honest, I can't comment on very specific universities in the United States, let alone India. I was born and raised in the U.S. I don't operate in India. So yeah, and my understanding is the Indian market is extremely competitive. So sorry, I won't be able to answer that question. Let's see. Vaidik Banushali. Hi, hey Shashank, I have a bachelor's in commerce. Planning to do data science masters as it work. What should I keep in mind regarding to this? What should you keep in mind regarding to this? What do you mean? Could you be a bit more specific? So it's difficult for me to answer really broad questions because I want to give you guys good answers. That's the thing. I could give you a very broad answer to a very broad question, but um, oh, Kelly, I did. Granted, my boss gave me the job in spite of ageism. That's awesome. Yeah, break through those barriers. Your age is not at all a barrier to what you can do. You want to know what I saw that was very inspiring recently? I don't know if anyone's seen Top Gun Maverick, the new Top Gun movie. Tom Cruise is 59 years old, and the stunts in that movie are real. I like looked it up afterwards, and like this man is really doing the stuff he does in that movie. Like, there's very limited CG in there. The man is 59 years old and doing like backflips and stuff out of like fighter jets. Age is not a reason you can't get into this field. Unfortunately, there are people who obviously ageism is a problem, 100%. The only thing you can do is understand your capabilities, um, regardless of your age. I don't even want to say despite of, regardless of your age. As long as you're willing to put in the effort, I don't see the problem at all. Troy R. Thoughts on online UT data science master program. Um, so I actually was thinking about signing up for it myself. $10,000 for a full master's in data science. That sounds like a great deal to me. That's not me. I'm not endorsing the program, just based on the information of UT is like a solid school. Um, and yeah, UT is a solid school. I think it's part of the comp sci program. Specifically, UT's comp sci program is really good. Um, and it's $10,000 for a master's degree. That sounds like a good deal to me. Again, I haven't done any specific research into it, but based on the surface level facts, it seems like a good idea. Let's see. What is the next question? Rohan, which data analyst project? Okay, Jonas, RS, Zachary. Okay, in your work experience as a data analyst, what action items do you usually complete on a daily or weekly basis? Okay, so there's a couple of analyses and kind of SQL queries and stuff that have to be run like weekly. So I usually do those weekly. There's some data cleaning exercises I have to do monthly that I do like once a month. Um, Daily, so on a day-to-day basis, there isn't anything I do every single day. I'll put it that way. Usually I'm working on larger projects that need to be broken down across a couple of weeks, at minimum a couple of days. And so the tasks I actually end up doing on a day-to-day basis will change depending on what project I'm working on. I would say they fall into two major buckets, or maybe three major buckets, right? One is two numbers don't match, tell me why. And that usually involves going into SQL, going into Tableau, and usually more SQL than anything to figure out why two numbers don't match, and talking to people to be like, okay, I'm querying from these two tables. What do you think? As far as let's see, as far as the second task is like building out systems to help analysts. That's a lot of Python programming. Um, and so that would be, I'd spend a lot of time being a code editor on that day, just programming in Python. Usually I set some requirements for myself for that day where I'm like, okay, I want to implement this, this, and this, and then try as best as I can to implement it. I almost never end up actually like achieving that. And I think that's a skill I need to work on. I need to work on better understanding my own capabilities. And what I can and can't do in a given day. That way I can give more accurate, representations of here's how long I think it'll take to finish something. And then three is we see some phenomenon, tell us why this phenomenon is happening or analyze this, right? And that usually involves doing some research, asking some business people, okay, what do you think the answer is? And then going into the relevant SQL tables, pulling data, running some stats on it if necessary, building a Tableau dashboard or an Excel workbook, and presenting that to the stakeholders. So I'd say those are the three major tasks that are part of my job. And what I do on a daily basis is usually an atomized version of one of those tasks. I would say basically none of these take a single day, except for maybe the error checking. But usually I have so many things I need to do that even that doesn't take like a single day. All right. Let's see what the next question is. I can do one more question. Okay, Kashyap Shani. So I wanted to ask you that should I prepare Python programming even if R programming is there in the course? Which programming language is more useful nowadays for a new joiner? Okay, so this is actually where I have a fairly strong opinion. I do believe that generally speaking, if generally speaking, if you're not joining a company where you already know their tech stack, so if you're joining a company and they use R, learn R. That's a no brainer. But given excluding all other information, if you don't know what companies are going to be uh, asking for, I would generally suggest that people learn Python these days. I think had you asked this question 5 years ago, R would have been a more common answer. Today, I would definitely recommend Python for the simple reason that it's a full-fledged programming language, and because of that, engineering teams are more familiar with Python and will generally have more support for Python. If you're having any issues with pipelines and stuff like that, you can always call up an engineer, and they will probably more easily be able to help you. R is a wonderful language. It's a really, really, really good language, um, but I would recommend Python for most people. I would recommend Python for most people for the simple reason that there's usually greater engineering support out there, which is why I believe it's the language you should pursue in data science, excluding all other information. Again, if you have a company, if you're joining a company and the entire team uses R, use R. Um, this is also where I kind of believe, like I read a blog post recently. I think it was by someone from at Airbnb, where they talked about I don't know if it was Airbnb or a different company where they would like you could program in any language you wanted to, and how they actually believed that that wasn't a good thing. Like it sounded like a good thing, but then it just led to like this very fragmented ecosystem where no one could help anyone because although you know although as a developer and as a data scientist you're eventually expected to like keep track of all the different languages or sorry you're eventually expected to be able to like read different languages and stuff like that. You can only be fluent in so many languages at a given time, right? So I would argue that even like on a team, like there needs to be like some enforcement that's like what is the language that the team's going to be using. Um, but that's just my opinion. I think it just makes execution way easier. All right. Last question. AN75, great to see you again. Hey, when looking for new jobs, how much extra pay do you go for? Like, do you target jobs that are paying 20% higher, 30% higher, or do you go higher than that? So I personally target a 30% increase in my salary every year. And I have been able to sustain that. Yeah, I've been able to sustain that for my entire career. I mean, my career's been very short, but I personally target about 30%. Now, obviously, you can't necessarily go to your company and ask for 30% more. That's where you switch jobs and stuff like that. But I would argue that I would argue that if you're going for a new job, you should be looking for about 30% more. Otherwise, why switch, right? Like 20%, I'm not sure. Or, I mean, it depends. It depends. 20% might actually make a big difference in your life. In my opinion, 30% is kind of the cutoff. Where like, oh, this is actually like very new money, because if you get 30% more money, right? Very, very rough math. Um, you will now be making what you were making previously without taxes, because taxes in the US take out about 30% of your income in this industry. Really more than that. I would say eventually you start hitting about 40% of your income goes away in taxes. So I would target about 30%. That being said, when you are negotiating a salary for your new job, negotiate as high as you can. And then if they don't offer you at least 30% more, save any other reasons, I wouldn't necessarily take the job. All right, guys, I have to head out right now. Balakrishna, thank you for bringing up what you mentioned. So, as I mentioned earlier, guys, I do have a meeting in 2 minutes that I have to go for. So, Balakrishna, I will follow up with the team and see what's wrong. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Thank you, everyone, for joining the live stream today. You guys are the ones that make this channel possible. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I'm here every Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Yeah, I've been doing it straight for a couple of weeks now, and I don't plan on stopping. Hopefully next week I'll be